Hey yo, what's up everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Huddle Chat Sports Show. I'm going to be your host, Dallas Clark, aka Indo is my Nindo. Now make sure you follow me on social media at Indo is my Nindo. That's going to be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, everything. Indo is my Nindo. Now, if you are new to the Huddle Chat Sports Show and you like my content, please make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. That like button will help me out so much more than you'll ever realize. It helps me get my content and this video out to more people that could potentially enjoy the Huddle Chat Sports Show. So if you do like my content, please make sure you smash that like button. Please make sure you also hit that subscription and notifications bell as well if you haven't already. Hitting the notifications bell keeps you notified on when new episodes drop as soon as they drop. If you don't know at this point, we're releasing episodes weekly. I'm coming out with episodes for you every Thursday on the dot as quick as I can. But I'm also talking about putting in a second episode throughout the week because at the end of the day, there's only so much information I can fit in one 20 to 30 minute episode per week. So I'm trying to get together and putting another episode out throughout the week. And I just need to see how well it's going to be received by everybody out there, by you yourself, by the followers, by the supporters. So make sure you hit that notifications bell, hit that subscription bell, hit that like button. But if you're new to the Huddle Chat Sports Show and you don't know about the Huddle Chat Sports Show, welcome first of all. But this here is going to be a cannabis-powered yet sports-driven talk show. Over here on THC Sports, we do not focus on marijuana unless marijuana is present in a current story, a current sports story. It's not like we're going to be out here focusing on marijuana. But like I said, marijuana will be infused throughout the talk show because it's hard to deny that marijuana is a part of sports. It's hard to deny that marijuana has been a part of sports, that it is a part of sports. You're seeing athletes past and present come out and talk about the use of marijuana throughout their careers and how it's helped them immensely, whether it be pregame, postgame, off-season, stress relief, relaxation, medication itself, pain relief, you name it. You're even starting to see the UFC, the MLB, National Football Leagues stop testing completely for marijuana and allowing their players to have that form of therapy and that form of medication, with it becoming legalized in so many states across America. So it's hard to deny the fact that marijuana is going to be a part of sports as we know it. So over here at THC Sports, of course, like I said, we took marijuana and infused it throughout the talk show because we got to get ahead of the times. We got to get with it, and somebody's going to start the first big THC Sports, the first big cannabis-powered talk show, and hopefully it can be me. And thank you guys again so much for all the love and support I've gotten up to this point on this cannabis-powered podcast. Now today's episode is going to be a hot one. I got a few really good topics, and honestly, I got one coming up off the script. Last night was the NBA draft, so I got something really big for y'all in regards to my favorite NBA team, the Chicago Bulls. But before we get started off on everything, before we get kicked off in today's talk show, I got to kick it to Eric for the intro, and of course, we got to infuse the marijuana into the talk show. So let's get lit, baby. Let's kick it off.
Like as soon as you click on the video, it's and then marijuana title cards with smoke coming up.
I may be covered in cat hair, but I still smell good. Baby, let me know, how do I look in my do-rag? Don't lie to me, let me rock you all night long. I'm trying to impress you, girl.
And you're getting high in the middle of the afternoon off some weed.
I gotta be honest with y'all, man. I'm upset this morning. Last night was the NBA draft, and as a Chicago Bulls fan, I am just let down. I'm disappointed. I'm confused. I don't even know what emotions to feel at this moment as a Chicago Bulls fan. I'm watching the draft. I'm excited to see what the Chicago Bulls are going to do with the 4th pick. Now, mind you, I'm not too crazy big into college basketball, especially considering the fact that with the COVID-19 pandemic, most of last season's college basketball season got canceled. So we weren't really able to watch a ton of college basketball coming into this NBA draft. The NBA draft is already supposed to be happening in June, and here we are in November talking about it just happened. So it is already a little bit weird of a year. Now, of course, going in, you could already tell that the big center Wiseman was going to get picked up by Golden State because what else does Golden State need to add to their team? Luckily for Wiseman, one of the best teams of this decade right now is really just had a really terrible year last year with everybody's injuries, and we're lucky enough to get the number 2 pick in the draft and the best center in the draft as well. Of course, LaMelo Ball went before the Chicago Bulls were able to pick. So when the Chicago Bulls pick comes, we decided on the 2019-2020 ACC Sixth Man of the Year We decided on another forward. The Chicago Bulls already have drafted Lauri Markkanen and Wendell Carter over the last few years. I mean, let me mind you, of course, we have moved the 6'9" Wendell Carter to center for some reason because we do not have a center. We have Wendell Carter at 6'9" playing center, and then we have Cristiano Felicio playing behind him. And I'm not going to lie to you, I absolutely cannot stand the Chicago Bulls big man center like that, especially with how the league is becoming. You got Giannis, you got AD, look at all the big men in the league, and the Chicago Bulls do not have a big man at the moment. Last year, we brought on Kobe White to complement Zach LaVine over at the guard position. So we got Lauri Markkanen, we got Wendell Carter. We do also have Chris Dunn. We just brought on Otto Porter Jr. this year on the forward aspect. So why we're going out this year and targeting another forward when we don't really need it is just confusing as a Chicago Bulls fan. I did all the research that I could last night after the pick. I got to even watch the post-draft press conferences on why we made those picks, and management basically just says Williams, the man that we picked, he's versatile. He's able to play 1 through 5. He's also only 6'8", 6'9" as well. He can play the 1 through 5. He played point guard in college, and what NBA player didn't play fucking point guard in college? He's also one of the youngest prospects in the draft, being 19 years old. But I'm not gonna sit here and pretend as if we had a pick of old men. I mean, he may have been a year younger than everybody else in the draft, but everybody coming out of the draft is a young prospect with long arms, big hands, extreme athleticism. That's what everybody says about their draft pick. I'm just confused as to why the Chicago Bulls went out and picked up another forward, not just a forward, the ACC 6th man of the year, so a Florida State Seminole that couldn't even start for his own college team. So you're looking at me and you're telling me basically the Chicago Bulls drafted this man to sit on the bench next to bum-ass Denzel Valentine that the Chicago Bulls are still holding on to for some reason. I don't understand why we even are entertaining Denzel Valentine. I don't even think he gets picked up by another team if we release him. He's never started for the Chicago Bulls, but he's been a Chicago Bull for his whole goddamn career, and he's done nothing for us. So I just don't really understand what moves the Chicago Bulls are taking, and I'm like, bro, I'm so sick of the Chicago Bulls at this current moment. I've lost so much faith. We lost Derrick Rose. We lost Jimmy Butler. We lost Dwayne Wade after the one season that we had him, even though he didn't do a goddamn thing for us. We've lost everything that we've ever had. And now we're sitting here looking at Kobe White. I really like the potential that he's got to show. We've got a really young team, but man, how long are we going to fucking rebuild for as the Chicago Bulls? When are we going to make a move that's going to put us back in contention? Because not saying that the Eastern Conference is at a weak point, but it kind of is at a weaker point, especially with LeBron James being gone. All you got to do is be a competitive team in the East to be a contender in the East. If you can get in the conversation of competing with the 76ers, if you can get in the conversation of competing with the Milwaukee Bucks, then you may have a chance to compete with them Brooklyn Nets. But right now, we're not even making the motherfucking playoffs. We're one of the 8 teams that got fucked out of the bubble. We didn't even get to play in the bubble because we were so bad. And only 8 teams got to be a part of that. So at the current moment as a Chicago Bulls fan, I'm losing faith quicker and quicker every year. Of course, I've got hope for Patrick Williams. Like I said, I don't know much about college basketball, so please correct me if there's something that I'm missing here about this pick, if there's something that I'm missing here about what the Chicago Bulls have been doing lately. Please correct me, because right now as a Chicago Bulls fan, I'm losing hope. Now, I'm sorry. I threw that one in there today. Like I said, that's a little bit off script because the NBA draft happened last night as I was preparing to do the podcast. And honestly, I was so upset last night, I couldn't even record the talk show. I was supposed to record it last night. I ended up having to wake up this morning and talk about it because I was just so infuriated last night with the Chicago Bulls pick. I couldn't even deal with myself. But moving on to the scripted portion of the show today. Last week, I mentioned to you guys, I'm starting to bring out, of course, it's mid-season. We're bringing out them Super Bowl predictions. I gave you my NFC favorites last week to win, the Seattle Seahawks. I told you why. And if you haven't seen that episode yet, I'm going to drop a link in the description so you can go back and check out my piece on the Seattle Seahawks and why the Seattle Seahawks are going to win the NFC Championship. Now today, of course, we got to focus on the other half. We got to focus on the AFC. The AFC almost seems like a foregone conclusion for most people. The Kansas City Chiefs are just going to run through everything. I don't think so. I mean, of course, you're seeing a lot of teams in the AFC this year come out and be way more competitive than you were expecting. So a lot of people are even looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers and saying, man, could they go undefeated, let alone make the Super Bowl? It's a very good possibility. But over here on the Huddle Chat Sports Show, Indo is my Nindo, I don't think that's what's going to happen. My AFC favorites to win the AFC Championship and represent the AFC in the Super Bowl is a team that has been kind of getting the short end of the stick for about the last 20 years. I'm talking about the Buffalo Bills. finally able to get an AFC East championship. I mean, Miami Dolphins have been playing amazing over the last few weeks, but the Miami Dolphins are not going to be able to keep this up with Tua Tagovailoa. They're not going to be able to keep this momentum up. I mean, the Patriots are absolute trash right now with Cam Newton, and then the Jets. We don't even need to mention the Jets. I mean, right now, like I said, the Buffalo Bills are the AFC East leaders. They're sitting at 7-3, looking great. The Miami Dolphins are right behind them at 6-3. They've already had their bye. Buffalo's got a bye this week, so things might look a little different at the end of this week, but ultimately, at the end of it, Buffalo will be sitting on top no matter what happens. So, of course, before we focus on the good things that the Bills have done this year, we've got to focus on that 3. We got to focus on those 3 losses. I mean, last week, let's just look to last week. They lose that game after a seemingly amazing game-winning drive by Josh Allen and a game-winning touchdown catch by Stephon Diggs with 32 seconds remaining on the clock. The Buffalo Bills came down the field, and they seemed to be able to, they were able to get it done, and they seemed to be able to close the window on the Arizona Cardinals and seal that victory, only to end up losing on the Hail Murray last weekend to DeAndre Hopkins with no time on the clock, an absolute godsend, and some people are still arguing right now, Thursday morning, on whether that was even a catch. So, yeah, they lost on a Hail Murray last weekend, but DeAndre Hopkins doesn't catch that ball, or there's a better camera angle to review whether it was a real catch or not. The Buffalo Bills seal that victory with that touchdown with 32 seconds left on the clock with Stephon Diggs. So that's one of their losses. Their second loss, a little bit further back in the season, would be to the Kansas City Chiefs them damn selves. And during that game, Buffalo had a chance pretty much the whole game. They were never out of that game. Buffalo ultimately ends up losing by 9 points, but they competed with Kansas City throughout the whole game. They shot for shot with Kansas City, and their defense was able to keep Kansas City from putting over 27 points, from putting over that 30 points where Kansas City likes to live at, that 32, 34, 40-plus point range that the Kansas City Chiefs normally like to live in. So you're already looking at it and you're saying 2 of their 3 losses have been games that they've been in. And if you're looking at, a call going one way or another, or a catch going one way or another, the outcome is different for the Buffalo Bills. But then you also look at the 2 teams that they lost to, the Arizona Cardinals, who are competing with the Seattle Seahawks, the team that I just dubbed to be the favorites to win the NFC last week. They're competing with the Seattle Seahawks for the championship in their own division. They're competing with the rest of the NFC to be actual playoff contenders in the NFC, and they're starting to look like one of those real teams that you might be afraid of when the playoffs come. Same thing with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs are the AFC favorites to win everything, not even just win the AFC. The Chiefs are favored to repeat and win the Super Bowl again this season as the reigning Super Bowl champions. So the Buffalo Bills have taken 2 losses to 2 teams that you ain't mad at them for losing. Then you look at what they have coming up. First of all, of their next 6 games, 3 of them seem to be pretty decent opponents. They got the Chargers, who have been really well with Justin Herbert. They got the 49ers, and depending on the health of that team, we're going to see how the 49ers come in. And then, of course, they got that undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers team still coming in. We'll see if they're still undefeated when they do play Buffalo. But those are their 3 tough matchups of their remaining 6 after this bye week here. Of their next 6 games, 3 of them are at home in Buffalo. 2 of their 3 away games are in New England and in Denver. So 5 of their next 6 games are in potential cold weather situations, because right now, I don't know if you've looked out your window recently. I mean, it doesn't really seem like it out my personal window right now here in Colorado, but global warming, what can you say? Snowflakes are starting to fall. Wind's starting to blow. It's starting to get real cold outside. And the cold weather football is getting ready to start up. Those teams like the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers and those real rough and tough ground and pound teams, they're getting ready to take off. The problem with the Buffalo Bills right now is that they have not been playing really well from the running position. They have an elite passing game, but they are also leading right now the league in the least amount of rushing attempts per game. They're actually going for a franchise low in attempts out of the backfield this season, out of rushing attempts. So they have not been running the ball nearly as much as they should. Last week, the rookie Zach Moss and the sophomore Devin Singletary combined for 11 carries for 34 yards. So they're not even really giving those running backs that opportunity. And Sean McDermott and that great coaching staff have already come out and addressed that situation and said that's what they're focusing on in this bye week. And that's kind of the great thing about having such a late bye week, especially being a team like Buffalo, who does have one of those cold weather states. You're going to be coming out of your bye week. You got to play in all the great weather up in the first 10 weeks. Now you got a week 11 bye. Now you can pretty much set up a whole new game plan for the remaining 6 left on the schedule. You can set up a game plan saying, we're going to need to run the ball more. You can focus on that, and you have that ability to almost change the identity of your team. And we've seen what Sean McDermott is able to do, and he's got great ability as a head coach. I don't have any doubts in my mind that Sean McDermott is getting ready to take this running situation in Buffalo and turn it completely around. It's not that the Buffalo Bills haven't been running well, they just haven't been running the ball. And it's hard to deny why they haven't been running the ball. They have a dynamic passing game. I mean, you got Josh Allen, who is seriously being argued with right now as an MVP caliber player at this current moment. You're looking at Russell Wilson as the leading candidate for the MVP, and Josh Allen following very closely behind, with Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes following behind them too. So you're looking at Josh Allen being the second best quarterback up to this point in the league according to the MVP race. Then you add in the fact that they added in Stephon Diggs this year, and a great receiver, and then they still have John Brown. They still have Cole Beasley. They've got a great dynamic passing situation just with their 3 great targets, as well as their quarterback coming out of the backfield. Josh Allen has proven to us time and time again he's also a mobile quarterback. He's one of those quarterbacks that can beat you 3 ways. He beats you with his legs, he beats you with his arms, and he beats you with his mind. So Josh Allen has proven to us that he's an elite passer in this game. So the Buffalo Bills do have that elite passing game, and that's why they haven't been running the football. But another thing that the Buffalo Bills have is that ability to outscore those teams like the Kansas City Chiefs. Because right now, in today's game, you need to have one of 2 things, if not both, in order to be a contending team with the Kansas City Chiefs, with them Pittsburgh Steelers, with them Tennessee Titans, with any of those high-powered teams. We've kind of gotten to that high-scoring approach. So you either need to have an elite defense that can stop the likes of Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs from putting up 30-plus, 40-plus points on you, or you need to have an elite offense that can compete with Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, that can put up points with Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Similar to what we saw with that Los Angeles Rams-Kansas City game last season on Monday Night Football, the highest scoring Monday Night Football game in NFL history, where it was like something like 45-52 at the end of the game. Yeah, see, like we're kind of getting into that era. You either need to be able to outshoot the Kansas City Chiefs, or you either need to be able to shut them Kansas City Chiefs down completely. And you're seeing a lot more people fall to the latter side of the equation and trying to just say, if we can add enough offensive weapons and outscore the Kansas City Chiefs, especially with how weak the rules have made defensive play in the NFL at the current moment, it's easy to see why you would focus more on the offense to outscore Kansas City than you would on the defense. And I'm not saying that Buffalo has an elite defense, but they have a decent enough defense that they've been able to contain those higher scoring offenses. But they have proven to us over and over again that they have that offense that can compete. They have those weapons that can outscore and compete with Kansas City and the likes thereof. Then one last thing that you want to look at with the Buffalo Bills is, yes, they are 7-3, but let's look at the teams that they've already had to face. Buffalo has already had to face the Los Angeles Rams, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Tennessee Titans, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Arizona Cardinals. That's of their first 10 games. That's 6 of the toughest teams in the NFL right now at the current moment. Not coming into the season, right now in the current moment. So of their 10 games they've already played, they've already ran through 6 of the toughest opponents in the NFL. So they've been being built for this all season. They've been getting hit on the anvil all season long. So the Buffalo Bills, come playoff time, this is all going to be new. This isn't going to be anything new to them. They're going to be used to this. This is going to be what they've been doing all season long. It's not going to be an adjustment to get into the playoff teams. No, because they've been playing playoff teams all season long. I have no doubt in my mind that Sean McDermott can lead this Buffalo Bills and can coach this Buffalo Bills, and Josh Allen can lead and even potentially win the MVP this regular season, and they are going to win the AFC Championship because the Kansas City Chiefs have kind of gone away from defense at all in the entire portion. You look at what the Kansas City Chiefs have done this season, and you look at their games against the Las Vegas Raiders that they just lost. You look at their game against Justin Herbert and the Chargers that they almost lost. They're allowing teams that even teams that shouldn't be competing with them, they're allowing those teams to put up points with them, and the Kansas City Chiefs defense is damn near abysmal. So if the Kansas City Chiefs cannot stop the Buffalo Bills from doing what they can do and getting downfield and scoring points, the Buffalo Bills are going to run right through them. So there you have it. My whole Super Bowl prediction is going to be Buffalo Bills, Seattle Seahawks, and it's going to be an amazing February. Of course, as a Colts fan, you'd like to hear me say why I didn't add in the Colts, and we just don't have it. With Phillip Rivers, we're going to be a great playoff contending team, but I don't realistically think that we're going to be able to get through this team, this Buffalo Bills team, this Kansas City Chiefs team, that Pittsburgh Steelers team. I mean, look at what happened to us against the Baltimore Ravens in these last just a couple weeks ago. So I mean, I do have the hope and I do have the faith as a Colts fan, but we're realistic. I'm a sports analyst at the end of the day. I may be a Colts fan, but I'm being realistic with y'all. We're looking at the Buffalo Bills represent the AFC and the Seattle Seahawks represent the NFC, and boy, it's going to be a great Super Bowl. COVID hopefully does not fuck anything up. Knock on wood. So what I want to focus on going into the next segment, I really want to focus on just a really surprising aspect coming into this season. Going into this year, we already kind of knew that this was a very highly packed wide receiver draft class. There was a lot of really talented wide receivers in the draft class, and they've come out this and all the rookie wide receivers this year in 2020 have been absolutely outstanding. And honestly, it makes you want to look at all of them. You're looking at Chase Claypool from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Justin Jefferson from the Minnesota Vikings. You look at Brandon Ayuk from the San Francisco 49ers, CeeDee Lamb from the Dallas Cowboys. You even have players that haven't been performing as well but are still playing absolutely amazing, like Michael Pittman Jr. from the Indianapolis Colts. We had a really amazing year for wide receivers coming into this class, and honestly, it's even kind of hard to pick which one of those wide receivers is better. That's going to be an argument that we're going to have on another day. But what we're going to talk about here today, this Thursday, we're going to be speaking on which one of these rookie wide receivers has the biggest bust potential. Which rookie wide receiver has the most potential to fizzle out and be that guy that we end up looking back in a couple years and saying, man, do you remember that guy? Me personally, I look at it all and I say they all have extreme talent, and some of them haven't even been able to demonstrate the talent that they have due to injury, like Michael Pittman and Brandon Ayuk, or just due to circumstance. But me personally, the main thing I want to focus on is the circumstance of development and the opportunity that these players are getting. When you look at Chase Claypool from the Pittsburgh Steelers, people are arguing right now if Chase Claypool is the number one wide receiver in Pittsburgh. Of course, we all know it's Juju Smith-Schuster, but people are arguing which Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver is number one right now. Juju Smith-Schuster, Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, they're all just about as good. So Chase Claypool may already even be the best wide receiver on his team. Like I said, we all know Juju has earned that spot. But Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson have been coming for his head, and with Juju Smith-Schuster taking all that number one coverage, he's been getting shut down all season. Then you look at Justin Jefferson in Minnesota. He's taking Adam Thielen's role. Since Adam Thielen now moved up a spot, with Stephon Diggs leaving and Adam Thielen becoming the number one wide receiver, Adam Thielen's been taking a lot of the number one coverage. He's been getting shut down a lot more this year, which has been allowing Justin Jefferson to thrive where Adam Thielen was thriving before. Because before with Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen, you couldn't double cover them both. One of them was going to be open. But now, Adam Thielen's taking most of the coverage and Justin Jefferson is getting all the attention. So already you're starting to see a couple of those wide receivers come out and they have that opportunity and they're presenting to you that they have an extreme amount of opportunity and potential for development. The player that I think, the rookie wide receiver that I think has the biggest bust potential is going to be CeeDee Lamb from the Dallas Cowboys. Now, congratulations, Cowboys fans. This is the first time I'm talking about the Dallas Cowboys on THC Sports because I refuse to talk about what everybody else is talking about, especially when it's damn near irrelevant. But the biggest bust potential rookie wide receiver coming in this year is going to be CeeDee Lamb. And it was going to be CeeDee Lamb even before you added in the fact that Dak Prescott took a career-altering injury. We may not be career-ending. We don't know how he's going to come back. But we all do know that the Dallas Cowboys quarterback future is uncertain. He was already projected to be a free agent at the end of this year. Is Dak Prescott going to be the future of the Dallas Cowboys? Will Dak Prescott, if he is the future of the Dallas Cowboys, come back and be 100%? There's so many questions of the Dallas Cowboys future. The Dallas Cowboys quarterback future is very cloudy at the current moment. I mean, when you look at CeeDee Lamb, he's already the third option, the third pass-catching option behind Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper, two proven Dallas Cowboys wide receivers. Then you also add in the fact that he's probably the number 4 option at best, adding in Ezekiel Elliott coming out of the backfield as a pass catcher or a running back. So you add in Ezekiel Elliott, and you know the Dallas Cowboys really love to work through that tight end position as well. So, like I said, at best, CeeDee Lamb is the 4th option on the Dallas Cowboys team at the current moment, and they don't have a quarterback. Gilbert played pretty all right last week, I suppose, but they don't have a quarterback. And then you look at the fact that last season, there was another extremely talented wide receiver in his exact position, Randall Cobb. CeeDee Lamb is replacing Randall Cobb, who everybody really expected to do extremely well on the Dallas Cowboys. Under Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper and having Randall Cobb as that third wide receiver, Randall Cobb was expected to have an amazing year last season. Fact of the matter is, Randall Cobb was absolutely nothing, and that's why he's not a Dallas Cowboy anymore. They were able to replace him with a wide receiver because in the draft because we all thought Randall Cobb was really good. Maybe it was because Randall Cobb was playing with Aaron Rodgers throughout his whole career. You know, there's a couple things to see. Maybe the Cowboys' offense, maybe the Cowboys' scheme just didn't do enough to get Randall Cobb open. Who knows? But all I know is that going into the Dallas Cowboys season last year, Randall Cobb was expected to be a extremely valuable player, an extremely big portion of the Dallas Cowboys offense. And he wasn't really a portion of the Dallas Cowboys offense. Like I said, whether it be talent-wise, whether it be scheme-wise, there's a lot of questions to be answered on that portion. But CeeDee Lamb is replacing him. So for us to be looking here at this point of the year and say, CeeDee Lamb is doing just about as much as Randall Cobb was last season. Where's Randall Cobb at right now? What is he doing right now? Not very much. And that's unfortunate for Randall Cobb. Like I said, if maybe he didn't get pulled away from Aaron Rodgers, maybe he would have a different story at the current moment. But that third wide receiver option in the Dallas Cowboys before has proven to us that it may not be as valuable as we think it is. And then I want to also look at one more thing. Is honestly, Cowboy fans may strike me down for this. What Cowboys pass catcher has really improved at or above expectation at all over a consistent period of time? Yeah, Amari Cooper did great when he first came to the Dallas Cowboys. But has he been able to keep up that expectation of what Amari Cooper should be and what he should be doing for a sustainable amount of time? I don't think so. Amari Cooper at the current moment is being paid as the second best wide receiver in the league, right behind Julio Jones. And currently being paid as the second highest pass catcher in the league, he definitely has not been performing like he deserves that money. He hasn't played consistently like he deserves that market-defining deal. Amari Cooper's been good, but he hasn't been what the Dallas Cowboys have been expecting from him. So Amari Cooper hasn't even necessarily solidified himself with the Dallas Cowboys. What Dallas Cowboys pass catcher, since Dez Bryant, has performed up to or at expectation for a sustainable amount of time? So the Dallas Cowboys have just kind of proven to us over time at the current moment that they necessarily aren't the wide receiver developing team that we think that they are. So at the current moment, looking at the circumstance, looking at the potential, looking at the opportunity, looking at the unfortunate circumstances that have been presented to CeeDee Lamb, I think of all of the rookie wide receivers at the current moment, all of the rookie wide receivers that have been able to do anything. I'm not talking all rookie wide receivers. I'm talking those top 2 rounds, top 3 rounds rookie wide receivers that have been getting playtime this current season. Fact of the matter is, I think CeeDee Lamb just has the biggest bust potential. There are so many obstacles standing his way as opposed to the other wide receivers, you know, and that's of course looking at all the wide receivers and assuming everybody stays healthy, which is just asinine. Of course, like I said, if some of them have already been injured. But if we're just looking at everything in a vacuum, I think CeeDee Lamb has the biggest potential to be a bust. Now, the last thing I want to hit on today, I actually want to introduce y'all to a new segment that I'm going to start bringing on to the Huddle Chat Sports Show. It's not going to be a weekly segment, but it's definitely going to be a segment that you are going to be seeing quite often on the Huddle Chat Sports Show. We're going to be talking about today, the new segment, What's Going On? It's going to be a new thing I want to bring up, and it's going to be when we're talking about a player that has underperformed, a player that everybody expects to be great, to be at least one of the top players in their position. We're talking about players that come into the year, even in a fantasy perspective, and you're drafting them in the top 20 in their position, and they end up being a free agency player by the end of the year because they just so underperformed. And it's not talking about players that get injured. It's talking about players that just have not been doing really well at all. This week, of course, the inaugural episode, I haven't talked about the Indianapolis Colts yet today. So today's inaugural episode of What's Going On, we're going to be focusing on T.y. Hilton.
Oh, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Yeah,
Man, what is going on with T.y. Hilton? As a Colts fan, this shit has been having me heartbroken this season. I have not been able to do me a T.y. dance all year long, and I'm deprived of it. And not only has T.y. not scored any touchdowns since week 8 of last season, T.y. has just really not even barely caught the motherfucking ball this season. I'm talking about because unless you're a Colts fan watching this, you don't know about the Indianapolis Colts because we don't be on TV. Last week we were on Thursday Night Football. This week, thankfully, the NFL gives us the respect that we deserve, and we're on America's Game of the Week. So we're finally getting a little bit of national attention. But if you haven't been able to watch the Colts for the first 9 weeks of the season, T.y. Hilton hasn't really been targeted very much by Phillip Rivers. And the few times that he has been targeted, I mean, I'm talking about week 1, that game, that potential game-winning drive against the Jacksonville Jaguars that we ended up losing. T.y. Hilton drops 2 of the biggest passes that I've ever seen T.y. Hilton drop in his career. He drops 2 passes on the game-winning drive, one going out of bounds trying to tiptoe. He just drops the ball as he's tiptoeing out of bounds, doesn't get hit. And then he drops another touchdown in the end zone on that drive as well. We end up not being able to convert and turnover on downs. Game over. Jacksonville Jaguars win, and that's the only win that they have on the whole season. You can't blame the whole thing on T.Y., but that was the first inclination of something being wrong with T.y. Hilton this season. Like I said, you have to go back to last year, 2019, mid-season, to find T.y. Hilton's most recent touchdown. And then you look at what happens this year when T.y. Hilton does actually get the ball. T.y. has been so unlucky this year. I don't even think there's a player in the NFL that's been as unlucky when we're not talking about injury. T.y. Hilton has caught 1 touchdown this season. It got called back for offensive pass interference on Zach Pascal. Every time T.y. Hilton makes a big catch and T.y. Hilton seems like he's starting to get things going, it gets called back for offensive holding. It gets called back for pass interference. It gets called back for an illegal formation. T.y. Hilton has gotten almost every positive play that he's made this season taken back from him off of penalties. And then you look at the fact that T.y. Hilton honestly is fragile. You look at the fact that as a Colts fan, going into the draft, I said we need either in the draft or in free agency, we need to get depth at wide receiver. Because T.y. Hilton has proved to us over the last 3 years, when was the last time T.y. Hilton played a full 16 games? Exactly. T.y. Hilton has proved to us over the last 3 or 4 years that he's not built for the full season if he's taking hits. He's not built for the full season as a number 1 wide receiver. Look at when T.y. Hilton catches the ball. He always goes out of bounds. He always slides down to avoid the contact. And I'm not mad at him for that. He's trying for that longevity. You don't want him to take a career-ending injury. But the fact of the matter is, T.y. does not like to get hit. And when T.y. does get hit, he might be out for a week or 2. T.y. Hilton is almost always guaranteed to miss 2 to 4 weeks in the season. So I've been saying that we need, because if you take T.y. Hilton off the Indianapolis Colts, what do we have at pass catcher? Zach Pascal, Paris Campbell injured, Michael Pittman Jr., rookie. Then we had the rookie Harris, number 12. I'm not really confident in our pass catchers without T.y. Hilton. So for those couple weeks that we're missing T.y. Hilton, whether it be for a concussion, whether it be for a sprained ankle, whether it be for a pulled hamstring, those couple weeks that we're going to be missing T.y. Hilton, we need to go ahead and have some wide receiver depth. And at the end of the day, T.y. Hilton is 32 years old. Andrew Luck, as surprising as it was, did just recently retire, and he came into the league with Andrew Luck. So T.y. Hilton is really starting to look where he's definitely on the second half of his career. And then when you look at the fact of the matter and say that T.y. Hilton's best season was 2016 as an Indianapolis Colt with Andrew Luck. And honestly, all of T.y. Hilton's best seasons were with Andrew Luck at the helm. T.y. Hilton without Andrew Luck really has not proven to us to be that good. So it's similarly what I was just saying about Randall Cobb on the Dallas Cowboys a little bit ago. Was T.y. Hilton really as good of a wide receiver as we all thought? Or were T.y. Hilton and Andrew Luck just that good of a tandem, just that good of a duo? Did they feed off of each other really well? We're starting to look like the latter may be more true than we'd all like to admit. T.y. Hilton may have just been a product of the offense that he was on. He may have just been a product of the quarterback that was throwing him the football. Because since we have gone without him, last season with Jacoby Brissett, this season with Phillip Rivers at the helm, T.y. Hilton has proven to us that he's not the number 1 wide receiver on the Indianapolis Colts. He's not catching passes. He's not staying for the full 16 games. And honestly, I hate to say it, when is T.y. Hilton's contract over? Because I don't know if the Indianapolis Colts are going to be re-signing T.y. Hilton. I love T.y. T.y. is my boy. He's given me so many memories, so much happiness. But the fact of the matter is T.y. is only getting older. And he hasn't been proving to us that he's one of those wide receivers, even close to like DeAndre Hopkins, that can play with no matter what quarterback is throwing him the football. T.y. Hilton may be looking at the end of his days as an Indianapolis Colt. because T.Y. Hilton may just not be as good as we all have thought. Man, I can't express to you how painful that was to tell y'all. That kind of hurt my soul just a little bit. I don't like condemning Indianapolis Colts. I don't like doing that. That really hurts my soul, but I got to be honest with y'all, man. Like it's something that we can't avoid. It's a truth that we can't hide from. T.Y. Hilton might be coming to the end of his days. Now, we got some really good games coming up this week, though. Tonight, we got Thursday Night Football, Seattle versus Arizona, and goddamn, I'm excited about that. I think the Arizona Cardinals are going to keep up their momentum. So I got the Arizona Cardinals over the Seattle Seahawks on Thursday Night Football tonight. A couple of the other big matches this week. You got Tennessee at Baltimore. That's a huge matchup. That's two big playoff contending teams fighting for their spot in the playoffs. The Ravens fighting against the Steelers above them. The Titans fighting against the Colts above them. So both teams extremely need a win. I definitely think Tennessee is going to come away with that against Baltimore. And of course, you got America's Game of the Week. Thank you, NFL, for finally giving the Colts the respect that they deserve. I don't think there's a bigger game this week. Maybe I'm biased. But Colts-Packers, of course. I got the Colts upsetting the Packers. The Fudge Packers don't stand a chance against the Horseshoe this weekend. And I hope the Indianapolis Colts come out and put a motherfucking whooping on them goddamn Packers. I can't wait to see it. So I got the Colts upsetting the Packers. And Monday Night Football, I got the Rams not only winning, but Tom Brady has another meltdown. And that's the biggest story on Tuesday morning, is that Tom Brady has another meltdown. We're looking at another image of him for getting fourth down. We're looking at another image of him getting all angry, cussing at coaches, cussing at players on the field. Tom Brady's meltdown is going to get the Rams another victory on Monday Night Football. And that's what we're all going to be talking about on Tuesday. Thank y'all again so much for tuning into this week's episode of the Huddle Chat Sports Show. I cannot wait to see y'all next week. Of course, we got a bunch of big topics coming up next week, and we're getting ready to get into debate season. I'm getting ready to start bringing people on the show, so if you're interested in coming on the Huddle Chat Sports Show and you want to debate with me right here with the blunt on the Huddle Chat Sports Show, then please hit me up on social media. Hit me in the comments of any of the videos that you watch. I'll bring you on the show. We can argue anything, or we can agree on anything. It's not scripted around here. I'm just gonna I'm gonna pick your brain, and we're gonna. It's like I said, we're coming into debate season. We're getting ready to start bringing special guests, and we're getting ready to start making a lot of really cool changes to the Huddle Chat Sports Show. Like I said earlier in the show, I can't thank y'all enough for all the support that I've received. I'd never in my wildest dreams expected this early in the life of the show that I would be sitting here with as much support and as much love that I've already gotten. So it's only going to get bigger from here, and I got bigger and better things planned for the Huddle Chat Sports Show. So y'all make sure you stay tuned and you stay watching for that. Like I said, make sure you hit that notifications bell. Stay notified on any episodes that are coming out. Like I said, we're coming out with weekly episodes on Thursday, but I'm more than likely going to be coming out with another video every week. So stay tuned for that. Stay notified for that. Follow me on social media at Indo is my Nindo, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that stuff. You're already on my YouTube. And if you've really watched this whole video and you haven't already liked the content, or you haven't even hit the subscription button, damn, are you just trying to hurt my feelings at this point? You must hate me, don't you? But man, I seriously cannot thank y'all enough for tuning into the Huddle Chat Sports Show today. I can't wait to see you next week. Again, I'm the host, Dallas Clark, also known as Indo is my Nindo. I hope y'all stay safe. Stay high and stay blazing out there. But again, stay safe. COVID's getting crazy. Thanksgiving's next week. So just stay safe, y'all and your loved ones, because I can't do this without y'all. But much love. I'm getting out of here, y'all. Peace out.